in today's
post.
video.
The note said, Melly claims that Utenzi made her design too similar to her, when the wings, boots, bottoms, shirt, skin, horns, and no marks on the skin are so different. Utenzi provided inspiration in her drawing that doesn't even involve Melly. Linking the post we already saw of Utenzi showing her references.
You just look at the character, it's the same shit. It really doesn't matter. See, this is why you create your VTuber from scratch, with no inspirations. I didn't even really have any inspirations, honestly. I just kind of created. I had the idea in my head.
Now, I'm sure that you're familiar with the fact that VTubers come in many different shapes and sizes. But even so, most of them are united by having one thing in common. And that's the fact that their designs are based on what an anime character would look like. This has been the norm for years now. But speaking of anime, with its many varied styles and themes, there is one recurring topic that always comes up. The fact that so many anime characters somehow end up looking exactly the same. This is sometimes passed off as inspiration. Others might argue that because anime styles are so simple, it's inevitable that you'd have two characters kind of looking the same. Regardless what the reason might be, people notice these things very quickly. And seeing that Vtubing has absolutely exploded since 2018, going from having 1,000 active Vtubers to 10,000 by January 2020, and reaching over 50,000 active Vtubers live streaming on both Twitch and YouTube in 2023, this meant that just like anime, you'd start seeing the inevitable rise of Vtubers that kind of look similar. These comparisons would start being a common occurrence and would create drama more often than once. But here's the thing. No matter how big you are as a VTuber, no matter how much influence you have in the community, if you publicly call out someone for plagiarizing your design, for copying you, without having very concrete proof, then you will always receive heavy backlash. More recently, we saw this happen with the apocalyptic Cinder drama, where she actively sought to sabotage another VTuber because she blamed her for copying both her design and personality when she literally started VTubing before her. It was ridiculous. But even though we had this incident and many others before it take place very similarly, it didn't stop this VTuber from doing the same exact thing. Bullying a smaller artist publicly for ridiculous claims of plagiarism, and within just the span of 24 hours losing all credibility in the community, to then eventually coming up with one of the worst apologies you can imagine. Guys, it's been a while since we spoke about stupid VTuber drama, but seeing how this made me roll my eyes multiple times as I was seeing it unfold, I thought we had to talk about it. So without further ado, let's do it. But the harsh reality is that getting a VTuber model made from start to finish is quite the costly endeavor, because depending on the complexity and the artist you're hiring, it can easily cost thousands of dollars and take months, sometimes over a year, to be made. But seeing that there's so many people that want to become VTubers, this harsh reality ended up creating some unique solutions like pre-made models. These, for example, are all ready to use and their price is very affordable. The only caveat is that anyone can buy this and use it. You're not the exclusive owner. And similarly to this creative solution of pre-made models, another unique idea popped up: adoption. It involves someone posting a concept of a VTuber that they created while asking for a particular price for it, or saying you can offer the price that you think is right. This adoption method can have many different upsides. Some people don't like to conceptualize something from scratch and would rather use something really cool by another artist. This also would allow you to finish the concepting step and maybe save up money for the next steps without any pressure, without any time constraints. In fact, this concept that we just saw was drawn by Utenzi. She regularly posts different VTuber concepts and will put them up for adoption. Now on August 30th, Utenzi would do what she always does. She would post two different concepts, with the first one being a purple themed girl wearing alt clothing, and the second one being this demon girl. Up until this point, this was just another day for Utenzi doing what she's always done. But that would of course be until it caught Melly's attention, a sizable artist and VTuber in the community. The next day, she would quote tweet Utenzi's post and say, "Hey, that kind of looks like ... very directly implying that the Red Demon Girl concept of Utenzi was a direct copy of her model, that she was being plagiarized. Now, what I like about this is that we're still at the beginning of this incident, right? And the replies on this post already don't want anything to do with it. The most liked reply is, "Do not start this. Oh my fucking god, I am so tired of seeing people accuse artists of stealing designs. Can we please stop doing this?" Or this guy saying, "Delete this shit. Your concept and design is generic as fuck, and there's a plethora of artists that could follow your same logic and accuse you of stealing their design." But even though this was the community sentiment, Melly decided to double down, quote tweeting Utenzi's post again and saying, "Of course I don't own the concept of Red Demon Girl, but it's so on the nose I can't turn away. The colors are similar, the pigtails, the broken horn on the exact side, the earrings, the torn wings, mismatched leggings, ribbons on the sleeves, the shoes. I'm just a bit sad." Alright, so look, Melly was saying this was very on the nose, that everything from the smallest minute details were copying her directly. So to make things easier for you, I put both designs side by side. Mel claims that the wings are meant to be a copy of hers when they look literally nothing alike. She also claims that the colors are exactly the same when they're literally not. They're completely different. One is more on the pink side, one is more on the red side. She then goes on to say that the earrings are exactly the same when that could not be further from the truth. The mismatched leggings are the same when, again, that could not be further from the reality. And my personal favorite, the broken horn on the exact side. Can someone please help me understand how this chipped horn is anything similar to this completely fucked up, torn out horn on the side of her head? Am I missing something here? The good news is, no, I'm not delusional, because guess what? She got ratioed more than once on this post, with this illustrator saying, "This behavior needs to stop. As a character designer, I can confidently say they look nothing alike aside from the red theme and broken horn. Mean girl behavior is ruining the space. Why don't you just make friends with people with similar designs?" You know, that's a very good point. If she quote tweeted this design and said something along the lines of, "Oh my god, demon girls with horns, like we look so cool," or whatever, that would have gotten so much positive traction. Instead, she's getting ratioed. Another person who ratioed her said, "I'm gonna be honest here, fam, but aside from the hair and color palette, it's not that similar to be made into a call-out post." People were not having it, okay? These similarities that she was talking about, they just weren't there. What people were seeing, though, is a bigger creator calling out a smaller creator, sending harassment their way over something that couldn't be further from the truth. If she's claiming that this design is plagiarizing her, then she should also call out Iron Mouse's 2023 design, because she also has mismatched leggings, earrings, wings, and longer pigtails. I mean, the only thing missing is what? The red color and a broken horn. But even though she was definitely reaching with that public call out, it still made Utenzi feel forced to make a public statement about it. So she quote tweeted what Melly had said about her and said, "I just want to share what inspired me. And I'm sorry if it turned out we were inspired by something similar. I adjusted some of the details you mentioned because creating original characters is very important to me. I hope you understand." So because of this, she was actually forced to publicly show the references that she used to come up with this concept. She also felt forced to change the concept itself and even apologized by saying, "I'm sorry if it turned out we were inspired by something similar." This post ended up getting a lot of interaction, with many people in the replies telling Utenzi to please not apologize because she did nothing wrong. She then replied to her post and said, "It makes me sad since this could have been resolved in DMs. I even made a post about this recently. I hadn't seen their design and it's unfortunate this happened." Linking a post she had made just a couple of weeks ago saying, "Fun fact, there are millions of artists who design characters and sometimes two people can create almost identical designs without ever seeing each other's work. The world is big and ideas often overlap, so it is nice to remember this before thinking someone copied someone." It was now evident Utenzi had done nothing wrong, and she also seemed like a very reasonable person. This could have been very easily solved privately, but instead it was made public in an attempt to discredit her. So seeing how this was made public and how much traction this post had gotten, The next tweet that Melly would make would be, "What the hell did I wake up to?" She had called out Utainzy, tried to discredit her publicly, was completely in the wrong, went to sleep, and then woke up to immense backlash. Many of the replies say, "You just woke up to the consequences of your actions," but that didn't mean in any way that it wasn't still salvageable. By this point, she could have still recovered everything if she just apologized. It could have ended right here. So did she actually take a step back, take accountability, and avoid any more needless drama? Of course not. This is VTuber drama. It never ends on a good note. She decided to triple down and would make this very stupid tweet saying, "Never have I said I own the concept of a red demon girl with pigtails. What the frig? The similarities to my own design merely made me baffled and saddened because no matter how different it was adjusted, it very much felt the same. I won't be gaslit into thinking anything else." Of course, there's no such thing as a good VTuber drama without community notes, and that's exactly what ended up happening on this post. The note said, "Melly claims that Utainzy made her design too similar to her, when the wings, boots, bottoms, shirt, skin, horns, and no marks on the skin are so different. Utainzy provided inspiration in her drawing that doesn't even involve Melly," linking the post we already saw of Utainzy showing her references. Now look, I know what you're thinking. This already looks really bad. But at this point, Melly is just the gift that keeps on giving, because look at this catastrophic reply to this post. Also, I hate the whole "it should have been kept private" because I don't know this person. I don't want to know this person. They made me feel uncomfy. I don't want to message them, period. I said my piece and will continue to be the red demon with pigtails. I mean, at this point, what the hell can I say, man? This has over 380 replies, with over 200 quote tweets. This reply by Kenny sums it up. Talk to someone like an adult? Thumbs down. Call them out publicly and they get harassed? Thumbs up. It's like, dude, Utainzy literally has open DMs. There should absolutely be zero excuse for someone like Melly to make a call-out post like this without even attempting to message Utainzy, because that's just the definition of being malicious. Why else would you call out a smaller creator like this in front of your community? By this point, it was painfully obvious to just about everyone that this person cannot be reasoned with. They were just that delusional. But then, something unexpected happened. Melly would completely disappear, not posting anything else on her socials ever since that catastrophic reply on August 31st. And that silence would last for over a week. We'd only hear back from her on September 8th, 2025, when she would post this statement. People were hoping that this was going to be an apology after a long break where she realized that she was in the wrong. What they got instead was, well, let's read this. In the early morning of September 1st, I nearly made an irreversible decision on my life. I've since been recovering and surrounding myself with friends and loved ones who are helping keeping me company. I got a glimpse of a few messages I got from friends online and want to thank you so much for reaching out. I'm sorry I couldn't respond, but I hope I'm able to in the coming days as I slowly regain the strength to do so. I 100% should have dealt with things privately, or at the very least ignored and moved on, but that just wasn't the case. I'm keeping the post up unless asked to be taken down so people can get the context if needed. I love the VTuber art community so much, but to feel the sheer cruelty the community can carry left me wanting to step away from engaging in it. So to protect my health, my friend will be stepping in for me and going through my messages and blocking those who took things too far or were cruel to an unimaginable degree. They will also be managing my Twitter till the foreseeable future, so if there are any business inquiries, etc., they will still be passed along to me, just sifted through by my friend. Thank you to those who waited for me. I've got a lot more art and silly things to share in the world still. So look, I think it goes without saying, I would never want to see someone leave this planet over drama online, especially VTuber drama. It should never get to that point. With that being said though, this post does come off as Melly trying her hardest to appear like the victim here, when in reality this entire thing occurred because she felt the need to call out a smaller artist publicly, attempting to discredit them and sending harassment their way over something that could not be further from the truth. The closest thing to an apology that we got was her saying, "I 100% should have dealt with things privately, or at the very least ignored and moved on," but that just wasn't the case. This made many people feel like she was not even attempting to take accountability here, still doubling down on the fact that Untitled did actually copy her design, when it was already proven that it wasn't. What happened to Melly was exactly what she was hoping to inflict on Untitled. This directly affected her credibility and ruined her reputation pretty much in a day. Untitled, on the other hand, didn't even comment on this statement that Melly had made, instead choosing to continue drawing designs drama-free and being able to sell, well, most of them from what it seems like. Ultimately, I don't wish Melly any harm, but I hope with this situation and the many others before it, people stop creating such dumb public callouts without thinking of the consequences and the fact that they'd have to face accountability. Anyway, thank you so much for watching until the end. I missed you guys. Expect
Whoopsie daisy, guys, my bad. So my thoughts on this are, no, I kind of wasn't paying attention to completely what he was saying. Yes, I did watch the video fully. You notice I did pause it. However, I was thinking about the fact that people pay to actually get their VTuber characters made. Now, I had to ask you guys something. Would you rather create a VTuber or a VTuber avatar? I'm sorry, a VTuber avatar, or would you rather buy and have someone create your VTuber avatar? I choose create, no matter how hard it is. Now, you guys have to also understand this VTuber drama, especially ones like this, is quite childish. Now, in the art community, from what I know, it's kind of like, how do I say it? Think of how two kids are in preschool. One kid steals the your favorite truck, your favorite toy truck, and you just can't help it but to be like, that's my truck. But there's another truck over there just like it. But specifically because the kid did steal your truck, you have every right to take it back. So it might not make sense to you, but in short, the person really thought, the kid really thought that because that truck looked available to him, he was just going to take it, regardless of who was using it. Now, like preschool, except with adults that have the mentality of just preschoolers, as you notice, this person's mental health apparently went up to the roof, and now they had to step down and step away, and you know how this shit is. I don't understand why they do this. They'll either call someone out, and then magically my mental health is in complete overdrive or some bullshit like that, and they can't calm down, so they have someone else step in. I don't understand that. Listen, if you can't handle the heat you dish out, you just might as well not bother. I don't know why you're bothering. Now, before I talk about this, and I will talk about this one time only, and I never will say anything at all. Don't let no niggas talk shit to you. Stand your ground. Don't let them do that and make you go off the internet. They would love when you would say you're just gonna go off the internet, man. They would love to do that. But that's irrelevant. Point is, from how I see the video,
Needs to stop.
God damn. Hate that shit. Is one thing in particular stood out. I will say this. They may have almost damn near the same design. However, when you just look at the character, it's the same shit. It really doesn't matter. See, this is why you create your VTuber from scratch with no inspirations. I didn't even really have any inspirations, honestly. I just kind of created. I had the idea in my head. I envisioned it, and eventually it became reality. But it was very difficult to do at the time. Honestly, still editing my VTuber avatar is very difficult because ideas, just, tons of ideas. But the only way for me to just compose myself, fix on one little idea is to have some coffee in my brain. It stops all the noise of just that idea, this idea. Ooh, what about this one? And so it just stops all that. And then finally one idea is mashed all together. into everything I thought about. So, right. We can't, simply put it, we can't go out of our way, accuse someone of something, then we can't handle the heat, then we're role-playing. I also wanted to address that. What's up with the VTubers role-playing when they're being serious at the same time? Why are they still staying in character? I'm not gonna lie, but get your shit together. Stop doing that. It's actually weird. The girl immediately said it makes me uncomfy 1 feet. Really? You're a grown-ass adult saying uncomfy 1 feet. Oh my god. God damn. Like, look at that. They made me feel uncomfy. Like, bro. You're a whole ass adult sounding like that. You can't. No. You can't do that shit. Please don't ever in your life try to sound like you're some kid trying to be cute. That's creepy as shit. You're an adult. Act like it. It's not that fucking difficult. I can't stand that shit personally. I don't even know why they had to type like that. Just type normally, because this is a serious situation in your opinion, right? So you might as well actually take it seriously. Look, my honest opinion on whatever this is, it's not drama. It's just a small little debacle going on in the VTuber community. You'll know what drama is until you see in hell. This ain't hell. This person dealt with a sprinkle, whatever they want to call it. Little burn marks or something like that. And that's what they consider a threat to them. So, to end this off, don't start spitting on people if you can't handle the heat. It's simple as that. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.
Hi, I'm Lucy Christian. I am the voice of Otako Uraraka, and you should subscribe to Neusxanity's channel. Peace out!